Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps and our guests from Kalinga. Welcome to regular press briefing, the Presidential Spokesperson, Harry Roque. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Philippines, and good morning to the ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps. Let me begin with the good news. Of course, you know about this already. We thank the U.S. News and World Report for its survey, which indicates that the Philippines is the best country, the #1 country to invest in for 2018. The Department of Finance attributes our being #1 to our young and hardworking workforce, an excellent inclusive growth momentum, an expanding middle class, fiscal discipline, stable monetary policy, membership in ASEAN, an achievable infrastructure program, improved revenue collection, a strong anti-corruption drive, political stable government, and a strong and popular leadership who has exhibited political will to uplift the life of our countrymen. We assure our investors here and abroad that the government will continue to implement sound economic policies to improve the country's ease of doing business performance and further sustain the growth momentum of the Philippine economy. In fact, in pursuance to this, we have recently enacted the anti-red tape law, giving fixed periods for local governments to act on pending applications lodged with them. No? More good news, BCDA's 8 billion contribution for AFP modernization. We're pleased to announce that the Basis Conversion and Development Authority on 1 March 2018 has provided a record high 8 billion pesos contribution to the Armed Forces of the Philippines Modernization Program. The 8 billion contribution is equivalent to 20% of the total 40 billion received by the men and women in uniform from BCDA since 1992. According to the BCDA, the amount is expected to increase in the coming years. We guarantee that the Duterte administration, through the BCDA and AFP, as partners for change, will build great cities that will become centers of economic growth and in turn provide a secure and comfortable life for every Filipino. More good news, welcome to the Philippines, MV Costa Atlantica. MV Costa Atlantica docked at the Alava Pier at 6 a.m. this morning with 3,500 passengers and crew. MV Costa Atlantica's visit is the first of some 15 cruise ships which are expected to visit the Subic Bay Free Port for the year. We're excited with this good news as we prepare ourselves to meet the demands of the cruise tourism market and make Subic Bay Free Port the next cruise ship playground. We are pleased to announce that more than 40 airports, air navigation facilities, and air traffic control facilities in the Philippines now have new communication navigation, surveillance, air traffic management, CNS ATM system. The installation of the new CNS ATM system includes en route surveillance radars in Apari, Lawag, Cebu, Mount Mahi, Quezon, Palawan, and Zamboanga, and airport surveillance radars in NEA Terminal 2, Mactan, Bacolod, Calibug, and Davao, which is expected to reduce flight delays as well as improve the country's air traffic safety. The Department of Transportation noted that a one-star rating was given by the official aviation guide to 8 Philippine airports for on-time performance, reflecting the country's performance rating of 71%, which is higher than the regional average of 64%. As promised, let me give you some of the highlights of the cabinet meetings yesterday. The President reiterated that the only right that foreigners can exercise in Philippine rice is the right to innocent passage. Exploration for natural resources, conduct of scientific research, laying of submarine cables, and building of artificial islands in the Philippine rice are reserved for Philippine nationals. No? The President and the Cabinet also noted that we should invest in maritime survey ships so that we could better assess the resources that we can exploit in the Philippine rice. Now, there were also ways forward identified for MRT3. The short term is to purchase all necessary spare parts. The medium term is to enter into a maintenance contractor with the original maintenance contractor, Sumitomo. and the long term is to change the ownership of MRT3 Corporation, which appears to have contributed to the problem of MRT3 as well. No? There was a decision that cases will be pursued for those behind the miserable performance of MRT3. They are pending complaints for plunder against officials of the previous administration, specifically for awarding the maintenance contract to a company with absolutely no track record. Now, the Philippine ID, national ID, was also discussed, and there was also discussion on the NFA and the rice situation. The NFA Council briefed the cabinet that there's absolutely no shortage of rice, that the reported shortfall or the reported stockpile available for the country, which allegedly was only for 1.5 days, is absolutely untrue. The 1.5 days stockpile is if we did not have any other source of rice other than NFA. Meaning, if we only had NFA in our possession, we would only have 1.5 days worth of supply. But the reality, of course, is that NFA constitutes a minority for our rice supply. Bulk of our rice supply consists of commercial rice, and that henceforth it will be the NFA Council that shall speak on the current rice situation. Now, on Boracay, the President said that while we are in the process of legal and factual fact-finding, that the initiatives as far as local government officials that allowed the many violations in Boracay shall be led by the Department of Interior and Local Government, whereas the compliance with environmental laws will be led by the DENR. There were no specific course of actions discussed in yesterday's cabinet briefing on Boracay. I think that sums it up. Questions?
MPC questions? Joseph Morong, microphone.
Your elaboration lang dun sa plunder charges against the previous administration officials. Would you be able to specify who these officials will be?
I think we know already that it includes the former Transportation Secretary. It includes even Mr. Ma Rojas. It includes Budget Secretary Butchabad. And among others, this is for the award of the contract to a company with absolutely no track record, a company that was obligated to repair 26 coaches, and they only delivered 2. And they even supplied the wrong signaling system. No? But in any case, that's just part of the solution. Accountability is part of the solution. Government has taken steps while it is currently operating the MRT to procure much needed spare parts, and they have taken steps now to enter into contract with Sumitomo to be the maintenance provider as well, and this has been facilitated by the signing of an agreement between the governments of the Republic of the Philippines and Japan.
How soon will these charges be filed?
I think it's been filed, so we're just awaiting action from the Department of Justice.
Ombudsman, sir, no?
I think it was the Department of Justice.
So criminal.
Well, I don't know where it's been filed, but it's been filed.
Plunder. So
Yes, it was a complaint for plunder.
MPC questions? Follow-up ba yan? Follow-up? Celerina Monte.
Good morning, sir. Regarding Sumitomo, when can we expect Sumitomo to take over the operation of MRT?
They have concluded already the survey of what needs to be done. And from what I understand, Sumitomo found out that it was worse than they expected, but they have a fixed timetable. Unfortunately, I do not have the PowerPoint presentation with me, but there's a date already specified.
Sir, regarding...
There's already a government-to-government contract entered into by the Philippines and Japan that would enable Sumitomo to come back.
So regarding the long-term solution, which is a change of ownership, are you referring to the maintenance, operation and maintenance only, or
The
entire-
ownership of MRT3, because as you know, the ownership of MRT3 is a private corporation. No? So they are thinking of changing the owners because we've had many problems with the current owners.
So not O&M only.
No, not just the maintenance. No, that's the long-term solution, is to change the ownership of the MRT3 corporation that owns the MRT.
So can we expect this like within this administration? Or?
Definitely. No? There were timetables presented to the cabinet. There's already unsolicited proposals, and there will be an award to be made soon.
Ano yung timetable, sir, if ever?
Unfortunately, I did not get a copy of the timetable, but I know that there's already an unsolicited proposal received by the DOTR.
From where?
They did not identify.
Okay, follow up. Tanong ko lang yung kay Belia, sir. From Belia Carriazo, kung pwede daw sabihan ng DOTR to implement tanggal usok, tanggal bulok on PUVs, not during rush hours, kasi nagkaroon daw po ng mga sobrang traffic at maraming na-stranded na commuters.
I can only relay that information, but I will.
Thank you. Ina Andolong?
Sir, this is just a clarification. Kasi yung plunder case merong final last November. Iba pa to, or are you saying that another case will be filed led
I know
by,
there was already a case
yeah.
filed for Buri, but there could be other cases filed as well.
new ones you're talking
There
about?
could be
new-
other new ones because apparently the problem lies not just with Buri, the problem also lies with the current owners of MRT3.
Who was tasked, sir, in the cabinet meeting yesterday to look into or to study possible cases or charges to be
The
filed?
President asked Soljan Kalida to look further into this matter.
Okay. Sir, doon naman po sa NFA, was anyone reprimanded for coming out with a statement na may less than 2 days worth of stocks lang yung NFA yesterday? Because after that pronouncement, I mean, some believe that it was what may have caused increase in prices back then.
In fact, that was discussed rather extensively, and that was why the President said that henceforth all information on the country's rice supply must emanate from the NFA Council. No? There was an acknowledgement that statements made by the NFA administrator caused panic, which probably caused prices to rise. There was some disagreement on the figures presented yesterday by the NFA Council, but ultimately it was agreed that there is no rice shortage because the figure of only 1.5 days worth of supply of rice was misleading. That was, again, the 1.5 days is only if it is NFA that is the only supplier of rice in the Philippines, which is not the case because, as I repeat, they supply a minority of our rice requirements. No,
Mr. Aquino was there yesterday.
no,
sir.
he was not. The President instructed that there be a what they call that, a cluster cabinet meeting for about 2 hours in the next cabinet meeting next month, and Mr. Jason Aquino will be invited to that meeting.
Okay, but the decision yesterday was basically, sir, si Cabinet Secretary Evasco na lang because he is the head of the NFA Council to speak on NFA-related issues.
It is the NFA Council. There was no specification of CABSEC Ibasco. It is only the NFA Council henceforth that will speak on the current supply of rice in the country.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, questions? Rose Novenario. Microphone, please.
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
Rose.
may report po na, na meron pong bagong ISMIR sa Maute Group. May natakil po ba yung tungkol sa anti-terror drive po ng administration sa cabinet meeting kahapon?
Hindi po, pero kahit sino pa mag-take over dyan, pupulbusin po sila ng gobyerno.
Sa tulong po ng iba't ibang bansa na mayroon tayong defense
Dahil
agreement.
ngayon po, sa tulong po ng mga bansang nagbigay ng baril sa atin, at sa tulong din ng mga intelligence information na binibigay din ng ilang mga bansa.
Sir, pwede nyo nang tukuyin kung sino yung sinabi ni Presidente na nagbigay ng 5,000 firearms na isang friendly country?
Hindi naman po sinabi yan. Pero sa mga ibang pagkakataon, nagpasalamat naman po ang Presidente sa mga bansang China, bansang Russia dahil sa mga baril na binigay nila sa atin nang pumutok po ang Marawi.
Thank you po.
Follow-up, other issue, Tina Mendez.
Tina, minaupo ang ka ba dyan? May silya rito. Okay.
Sorry. Sir, good morning. Sir, can you please share us details regarding the President's meeting with the country's top conglomerates or businessmen to include MVP, Mr. Rason, and Mr. Lucio Tan?
Kailan po yan? Yan ba yung Japan?
No, we have a picture kasi, sir.
Hindi ko nga alam kung yan yung sa Japan or kailan lamang kasi wala naman sa schedule yan.
Wala nga po sa schedule.
Oh, I tingin ko,
Posted in our
lumang picture
Viber
na
group.
yan. Baka yan yung Japan, kung hindi ako nagkakamali. But I could be wrong. I haven't seen the picture, ha. Pero the last time the tycoons were here was in connection with the Japan meeting, no, with the Taipans, no. That was really not a government-to-government meeting. That was more of a business meeting which government organized, no. And I think I made a statement that the President reaffirmed our commitment as an investment destination for Japanese capital, and he invited the Taipans to underscore the fact that there will be no shortage of Filipino businessmen that they can partner with in their projects.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Ace Romero.
Secretary, can you elaborate on the cabinet discussions regarding the national ID system?
Napakahaba po nung
Yung
discussion.
salient points lang.
Well, hindi pa po talaga natapos ang discussion because we will resume discussion in the next cabinet meeting, noting that there are pending legislation in both houses of Congress. So they wanted really to find out what the final legislative output will be before a decision could be made, no?
Pero may initial proposals na, Secretary.
Well, ang proposal lang is kinakailangan ba smart ID o hindi. So may mga ganung kailangan multi-purpose na yung ID o talagang just for purposes of identification.
So when do we expect to complete the discussions?
Well, sana po sa susunod ng cabinet meeting dahil inaantay nga po yung final output ng Kongreso.
So walang sinabi si President Duterte regarding the national ID during the
Well,
meeting?
the report was duly noted. It was presented by NEDA. And yun nga lang po yung mga discussion, yung mga options on how this ID system will actually be implemented.
Thank you, Secretary.
Okay, questions? Laila Salaveria.
Si Catherine ba nandito of Manila Times? Oh, dapat hindi mo tanong yung mga tanong mo. Nagtatanong ka sa text, tanong mo na ngayon.
Sir, mabilis lang yung sa akin. Sir, what triggered the President's statements on the freedom of navigation in the Philippine Rise? Do we see any threat to the area or any attempted incursion?
Well, the President noted that foreigners have been doing a lot of research, and he noted that overwhelming number of researches have been undertaken by American firms, no? Whereas there were only 2 licenses given to Chinese firms, no? So he has said that he will absolutely prohibit all scientific researches in the area now. And when he said that it was not directed against China, it's because, as far as we know, China has only had 2 scientific research in the area.
So that was it, sir. Walang threat in the area.
Wala naman, because it was again said at the beginning of the meeting. It was not in the agenda. It was more of a declaration, a presidential directive, reiterating his previous order to limit the exercise of sovereign rights to Filipino nationals in the undisputed Philippine Rise.
Sir, how solid is the President's directive, or is the plan to buy maritime survey ships?
Well,
budget?
Secretary Piñol noted that they have been conducting research on the Philippine Rise for the past decade. It's now very solid. There was an initial proposal to buy using Malampaya funds, but it was noted that there may be legal questions because the Malampaya funds, in a case that I filed, there was a TRO issued by a permanent injunction issued by the Supreme Court that Malampaya funds could only be utilized for energy-related projects, no? And so it was Secretary Dominguez who said, we have the money anyway, we'll buy, even if we do not have to use Malampaya funds. So the government will buy more research vessels.
Okay, MPC, questions?
May budget na, sir. Sorry, may budget na, may amount na, sir.
There's always budget in, we have
May
3.7
specific
trillion.
amount,
No?
sir.
I forgot the amount. I should write this down when I listen next time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, mag-follow up, other issue, follow up.
Sir, there was this statement from Acting Chief Justice Carpio regarding the joint exploration. He mentioned that China or the CNOC or any Chinese company should first recognize that the Philippines owns those areas to be explored. Does Malacañang agree with that statement?
No, that's his personal opinion. Because as we said, no, the Supreme Court allows aliens to take part in exploration and exploitation in Labugal, and I hope you read the case digest. You can read also the case in its original to find out that yes, that decision had to do with land territory, but the point is we have absolute sovereignty in land territory, and if foreigners can participate in exploration and exploitation in land territory where we have complete sovereignty, more reason they could in the EEZ where we only have sovereign rights. Number two, a dispute under international law in the Mov Ramatis case decided by the ICJ is defined as a disagreement on any fact or law, issue of law, involving an issue of international law. So while under Philippine domestic law, we are convinced, and also under the under international law, it is clear that the waters around the 3 artificial islands are undisputed because they are clearly within the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. 72 is not in the area of the artificial islands. So the tribunal, did not exactly rule on the nature of the waters where 72 is. Well, even if the tribunal ruled that it is undisputed to be Philippine EEZ, the fact is there remains to be a disagreement under international law which must be resolved, no? So that is the only reason why sometimes we refer to a statement of fact that there is a dispute in the West Philippine Sea, but under a domestic law, there's absolutely no dispute because it's clearly ours by way of exclusive economic zone. So I hope I'm clear on this, no? But I think we should let go of the issue too because every day it's a running debate already. I don't mind because this is how we educate our people on an otherwise obscure provision of international law. So I welcome it. But come on, we've got to move on.
But sir, how would we reconcile na anything that we should do in that area should be within the Philippine Constitution as stated in the Labugal case?
Well, ang sinasabi nga natin doon is for as long as it was acceded to by the Philippines, because we are a sovereign nation, we can share what otherwise is exclusive to ours. Ang mali dyan is if we don't consent and a third state goes ahead and explores and exploits. That would be a violation of our EEZ. But if we consent, who is to complain if the state itself consents to it? And of course, the decision whether or not we will consent to it is an issue of either policy, which is the realm of Congress, or enforcement of the law, which is the realm of the executive.
So, sir, sorry ha, last na. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan pa rin i-recognize ng whichever, nung company na yon, foreign company, na they are working under the Philippine Constitution, na under the Philippine...
Dalawa po kasi yan yung undisputed na 57.
Hindi, sa 72.
Okay, sa 72, sa akin po hindi kinakailangan yon. Kasi nga po, itong joint exploration, by way of compromise, na wag na natin pag-awayan muna yung issue kung sinong merong sovereign rights dyan, makinabang na muna tayo. At sa akin, ang sinasabi ko lang po, walang mali dyan dahil tayo naman, dahil meron tayong exclusive na karapatan na kumalat ng tanging yaman dyan, pwede tayong pumayag na magkaroon ng joint exploration kasama ang mga dayuhan. Decision po yan ng isang soberanyang bayan.
Okay, thank you. Last two na tayo. Catherine and then Rose.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po.
Si Assange, di ba? Ikaw
Yes,
nagtanong.
opo, sir. Hingin lang po namin yung comment nyo dun sa statement ni WikiLeaks founder Assange slamming Rappler for their article. Parang the Rappler's report is linking him to the supposed Russian involvement.
Can
daw
you
po.
please, for the record, repeat how Assange described that article?
Okay, sabi niya po, his slamming Rappler for producing what he said was the stupidest article he had ever read.
Stupidest article. We will not dispute that because that's his opinion. That's Assange, the world-famous activist Assange, describing an article in Rappler as the stupidest article. We will not dispute that because Mr. Assange is entitled to his opinion. We have described Rappler in many ways. Nonetheless, we have not described any article there as the stupidest article. But Assange, given his stature, is entitled to make such a conclusion.
Catherine, question pa? Rose Novinario.
Hi, sir. Good morning po ulit.
Hi, Rose.
Sir, sabi po ni Congressman Umali, pwede raw pong simultaneous yung pagdinig ng Supreme Court dun sa co-warranted petition laban kay CJ Sereno at yung impeachment din po sa Kongreso. Sakali pong magkaiba po yung kanilang desisyon, posible po bang magkaroon ng constitutional crisis?
Hindi po. Dahil imposible pong magkaroon ng constitutional crisis dahil magpapatupad naman dyan ehekutibo. Hindi po papayagan ni Presidente magkaroon ng constitutional crisis. Magtiwala po kayo sa Presidente na pinagtitiwalaan ng pinakamataas na numero ng mga Pilipino sa nakalipas na 28 taon.
So ano po yung halimbawa pong magkaiba yung desisyon ng Supreme Court at saka po ng Kongreso, ano po yung ipatutupad ng executive branch?
Ako, masyado namang haka-haka na yan. Antay muna natin kung ano yung desisyon bago natin tanungin kung anong patutupad ng ehekutibo.
Thank you po.
Okay, Joseph, follow up. And then last na si Bernadette.
Sir, was the Sereno issue discussed in the cabinet?
Not at all.
Ganon. Bakit?
Wala. Bakit naman namin di-discuss? Who's she?
Taray naman. Solgen, hindi
Who is
nagdagdag
she
si Solgen?
to occupy the time of the cabinet? Come on.
Hindi nag-update si Solgen?
Wala.
Okay. So, sir, si SAP, mukhang may pinost din si Secretary Piñol. I was wondering what kind of
Ay, sinasabi lang ni Presidente na kapag binastos nga yung mga miyembro ng gabinete o ng armed forces, sasabihin niya tumayo at umalis. At kung ayaw paalisin at kinulong, sabi niya, SAP! Kumuha ka ng armored vehicle. Wag marami, 2 lang. Tignan natin kung hindi lalabas yan. No? Pero, alam mo, it's just the resolve of the President kasi nga, this had to do with, he was addressing Secretary Roque. I guess in the Senate investigation, there were also unpleasantries directed at Secretary Roque. And so sabi niya, pag ikaw binabastos, just leave. Because I will not allow any of my cabinet men or my military officers na bastos-bastusin ng co-equal branch of government. Pwedeng mag-imbestiga, but we should do it within the bounds of civility.
No, but will he be joining you in the Senate slate?
Well, Bongo also assured me yesterday, huwag ka mag-alala, wala talaga akong plano. Ikaw lang, sabi niya. Sabi ko, hindi nga ako sigurado eh.
Char!
So, walang mga sigurado. Hindi relasyon.
Ano sabi ni Presidente when that was like broached?
Wala.
It was broached?
No, it wasn't broached. It was Sapgo reiterated that he is not interested in a Senate run.
Are you threatened by Sap Bongo?
Of course not. Because I have no plans for myself either.
Okay. So last 3? Bernadette? Sino yun? Hannah or Raymond?
Masyado na tayo nag-i-enjoy dito,
Raymond.
ha? Hindi na ito press briefing. Sisingilin ko na
Yes.
kayo ng admission fee,
Bernadette.
ha?
Sir, Bernadette po, Business Mirror. Sir, tatanong ko lang po.
Microphone.
Sir, sa
Parang ngayon lang
inflation
kita
po.
nakita, ha? Ako, hirap naman ang tanong mo, inflation. Di
Is
ba
the-
sinagot na yan ng mga taga-Department of Finance?
Sir, baka may policy action po. Is the government concerned po on February inflation hitting a new 3-year high at 4.5%? If yes, why? If no, why not?
Well, lumang balita na po yan ata dahil...
Hindi sir, kanina umaga lang po
well,
yun.
ang sagot po dyan ng Finance Department ay yung inflation naman po, imposibleng nanggaling lang yan dahil sa trade. Unang-una po, napakataas talaga ng pagtaas ng halaga ng petrolyo. At ito naman po ay dictated by market forces. No? Tapos napakataas din ng koleksyon natin ngayon doon sa tobacco products. No? Dahil ito nga po nangyari doon sa pagsesettle at pagbabayad ng tamang buwis ng dating mga kumpanya na nandadaya sa kanilang buwis. No? So ang estimate pa rin po ng gobyerno, hindi nagbabago, 0.7 lang po ang magiging contribution ng train sa ating inflation. O nga pala ho, sinabi rin sa akin ni OIC Laiko na i-release na po nila sa 10 milyong beneficiaries ng 4-piece yung 200 pesos a month na nakasaad sa train law. No? At i-release po nila in a lump sum yung 2,400 sa 10 million beneficiaries para po maibsan ang epekto ng train doon sa pinakamahihirap na ating mga kababayan.
Okay, Rose Lavenario.
Ay sir, nagpapatanong lang po si Henry Uri.
Bakit wala si Henry Uri dito?
Nandito naman daw si Rose.
Nasa farm? Buti pa siya may farm. Oh. Okay.
Sir, sabi raw po ng spokesman ni CJ Sereno kaninang umaga, wala raw pong katuturan yung SALN at it can't be used daw as ground to impeach CJ.
Sabi niya yun, kaso hindi naman siya membro ng Kamara. Yung Kamara magdedesisyon dyan. Sorry na lang siya.
Thank you.
Okay. Si Raymond and then last si Tina.
Sir, going back to Chief Justice Sereno, whom you called as who is she. Sir, what if there will be a render of acquittal to her? Will you also openly accept?
Hindi nga kami nag-imasok. Siyempre, tatanggapin namin yun. No? Kung ano man ang desisyon ng Kongreso at ng Senado sitting as an impeachment court.
Sir, Senator Laila de Lima also wants to join the impeachment trial. Will you be happy to see her at the impeachment court?
My advice to her, libreng mangarap.
Last
Manood na lang siya ng TV kung meron siyang TV sa kulungan.
Last question, Tina Mendez.
Sir, sir, earlier today sa CNN Philippines, you were quoted as saying that any talks on Alvarez removal is wishful thinking. What is your basis for saying this? Does he have a stronghold sa
Because
speakership?
he continues to have the full trust and confidence of the President, and I think in the House, the allies will act as one on their choice for Speaker.
Sir, can you confirm reports that the President met with the Congresswoman and former President Arroyo today regarding the speakership also?
I cannot confirm that because it's not in the schedule.
Nonetheless, it might have happened.
I do not confirm that. I have no knowledge of any such meeting.
Can we have an update within the day, sir?
I will, but I think you know the schedule of the President. He's very busy today. Starting at Go, ano ba yun? Yung kay Joey Concepcion? Go Negosyo, ending very late with a dinner with former rebels here in Malacañang.
Sir, I'm sure kaya nyo naman yan. Kayang-kaya. We'll wait for your update. Thank you po.
Pwede ba kayo na magtanong?
Okay. Okay na, Malacañang Press Corps.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
See you on Thursday.
Okay, thank you Malacañang Press Corps at sa ating mga bisita.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you Presidential Spokesperson
After po.
Harry Roque, back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.